I think last year was a really good experience for us to have heading into this year. I think we almost needed to have that experience of, okay, this is what it feels like to win a championship. Nobody on the team ever had, a lot of the coaches never had. So wow, that was super exciting. Going into youth sports, we were ranked #1 on both sides by, I mean, we're talking about like half a point on the men's side and a couple of points on the women's side. It was really close, and we knew that it was going to be a battle. So to be so close at youth sports and to so quickly have everything unravel for us, it was really heartbreaking and disappointing. But I think the fact that we didn't graduate a lot of our athletes last year, and we knew that we were coming into this year with very much the same team, and kind of both that experience of what it feels like to win and that newfound hunger of like, we can win the youth sports championships, I think it's gonna really set the stage for what we can do this year.
I know everyone definitely pretty much brought their A game, like for OUAs and everything. Like, we knew we wanted to win, and then when we're like tracking the scores at OUAs and we saw that we were in the lead, and then we're like, we actually won, we're just like, finally. And then we're like happy that we like beat Guelph, you know, because they've been like the dynasty for so long. But, and then, you know, having at youth sports, which is really unfortunate, but we still like did great. So, and I know this year we're definitely coming back with like redemption, because at youth sports, I know everyone was like very like, obviously it was pretty much bad luck, but I know this year we're definitely hungry for more, and we're coming back with like redemption.
You know, to make our team, you have to have the standard, but it's not a guarantee, because it depends on how many people make standard, and we can only carry so many. But this year in particular, we increased our standards because our athletes tend to see that number, and it's like, okay, that's what I have to achieve to be on the team. Try to tell them no. And we even, just for example, at Purple and White this year, I did have an athlete that got standard, and typically every year, if you get standard, achieve standard, you end up picking up your uniform to compete at season's opener. And I've never really had to go back and say, okay, I'm sorry, we can't keep you because of the numbers, and I need your uniform back. So this year I thought that might actually happen, and I hope it doesn't. And then, you know, it was interesting, because probably that individual, if he didn't run significantly faster, we wouldn't have kept him, and I would have had to have done that. So, you know, I think it is a good problem to have, but this particular year, yeah, it was a tough one.
Kind of leading into this year, we only have, I think, like five athletes from our OUA squad that graduated out of our team, and we actually added in probably 5 or 6 new either recruits or transfer students. So we just know that team is even stronger this year. So we're really not changing too much with kind of the preparation up until that. I heard a quote once that I've kind of lived my athletic career on, and it was, I think Ashton Eaton said it, and he said, it's better to be 100% healthy and 80% prepared versus 100% prepared and 80% healthy. So I kind of have that same thought process when I'm personally kind of coaching my athletes of if I can keep them healthy and keep them running well up until youth sports, and all the pieces will be in place. It's just about kind of getting them there healthy and in one piece.
We got 112 people rostered. Mondays are typically the craziest day, because somehow it's like such organized chaos. You got like 30 to 40 distance athletes just ripping around the track for like what seems like forever. You got the sprinters warming up, you got the jumpers going, someone's on the pole vault runway, the throwers are trying to do their speed. I don't think that people realize how many people are actually a part of this group, but that's honestly what makes it so special and so close-knit. I feel like just having a practice time that overlaps with other event groups allows people to support each other through kind of every single stage of the process of the year, you know. So and I think that's like kind of one of the most special things about the team.
In youth sport, you know, we're in a setting where not only do you have individual performances, but you also have a team championship that you can win. And so it is true that success often rides on an individual performance, right? If I'm looking to win in my event, I need to succeed for myself, not for anyone else. However, I am absolutely going to be supporting my teammates who have an opportunity to score points collectively as a team to contribute towards a team championship at OUAs and U Sport.
It's a blessing to actually be able to go through this with Caroline, because again, track brought us together, and now that we're both retired, track is still keeping us together, among other things. But it is nice to kind of be able to bounce ideas off each other. We're going through kind of the same coaching courses, and just being able to kind of see her success, and my success, and so on and so forth. And again, we're able to bounce ideas off each other. If somebody's not really sure of what they're doing, or something's really working, again, we can kind of share that amongst each other. And again, it's just nice to be able to kind of travel together and like go through this journey together, because again, we're both, this doesn't even feel like a job to us, because we just love it so much. So
and that's become one of my favorite traditions that we do, actually, is the night before every meet. It's not necessarily who do you think is going to have a good day, but it's more of if you could choose one person in your squad to have a day, who is it? And it's always like who we think needs it the most, like who could use that little boost right now. And when it does end up being that person, it's really fun. But another thing that we started to do this year is every night before bed, we take the dog on a walk, and usually we call it our track and field podcast, because we end up just talking about track the whole time on this walk. And we've actually started a notes app on our phone, like when we make predictions, like I think so-and-so by January is gonna run this, like he's looking really good. So we've started to keep track of our predictions to be able to look back and be like, wow, it happened.
Almost everybody on our coaching staff is a former Western track and field athlete. And I do remember, not that long ago, Jason Kerr said to me at the U Sport Awards brunch, he said, you seem to be able to maintain so many of your, Western, your coaches at Western. He said, like, I've had to go through 3 throws coaches in the last year or 2. And like, how do you do that? And I never really thought about it. And then I thought that, well, they're alumni and they're passionate about the sport and the university. They want to, continue and give back. So, of our, 10 to 12 coaching staff members, some are just, help out every now and then. Probably 80% of them are former Western Mustangs.
I don't know, I feel like people, when they look at sprinting, they think it's like so easy, like anyone can literally just go and run. But honestly, it's so technical. Like something that's like missing can like pretty much like screw up your race. So like block is very technical if you don't, and especially since the 60 is so like, boom, it's like done like in like 7 seconds or whatever. If your block start isn't like good, then like your races can pretty much be like over unless you have like crazy top end speed. And if you like don't have that top end, then like people can obviously pass you since it's like, it is a sprint. Yeah, just like the technicality of like everything, because like just a little like tweak or something can like make you 1,000 times like better. So it's just like very like technical, just like sprinting. So
how much legs it involves, how much agility and timing it is. People think that when you rotate, you're going in a circle, but actually like they are right. You are turning obviously, but like you're rotating to achieve the straightest possible line. So if you look at like an aerial view of a throw, the best throws are kind of like a straight line from your left foot at the back of the circle to your left foot at the front of the circle. So, and it also means way more lower body injuries and problems versus, arm pain or shoulder pain. Like, I actually have no upper body problems at all typically. Everything kind of happens from the ground, and then so I'd say the event is probably like 50% legs, 30% core, 20% your arm. So.
It's really tough, but I think a lot of us are kind of like used to it. We don't do one event, so we don't like know what a rest day is. We don't know what an easy day is. Pretty much just every day coming to the track, practicing 1 or 2 events, Yeah, it's kind of tough, but you're kind of used to the lifestyle.
I would say the most difficult aspect for me is trying to make the most out of each training session. It's very difficult as a heptathlete. If you have an off day, I only pole vault once a week, right? So if I'm pole vaulting on a Wednesday and I'm not having the best day, I could be tired, I might not have my legs under me. I have to wait an entire week in order to attempt that event again and try and reconfigure those training cues in whatever way I need to. And then trying to bring that all together in 7 events over 2 days. Not only maintaining the body, like trying to stay healthy and stay fresh through each of those 7 events, but the mental focus is a huge component too. Like my race, a 60 meters over in 7.5 seconds if you're lucky. But the heptathlon, you have that 7.5 seconds of performance, and then you got to go and do it again and again and again through different events.
Our group is looking really strong this year. Last year we did graduate a couple of our heavy hitters, but we had a really strong recruiting year in the horizontal jumps and brought in 2 of the top guys in the country who are looking to make an immediate impact. I'm really proud of our entire team's culture, but within our squad, I just love the dynamic that we have. It's very competitive, but it's very fun. These past few years, we've qualified more horizontal jumpers for the U Sport Championships than any other school, and I'm looking to definitely do that again this year. And that's where I think that we can really do some damage, so to speak, in having that depth, right? It's not just having the best person in the country, it's qualifying 4 people in that top 12 and having them all score. So that's definitely the goal, to get people on the runway healthy in March. And so far so good. We're off to a really good start.
So I would say because our team is better, and I don't think across the country teams have significantly improved like we have, that makes our expectations higher. So, last year we focused first on the OUA championships, and we still did have very strong teams going into the U Sport Championships. Both teams were ranked #1 in the country. And it didn't materialize where we finished #1 in the country. So I would say this year, we're focusing more beyond OUAs, and our main focus is going to be on U Sports. And if that means we still put things together and end up winning, 1 or 2 OUA championships, that's wonderful, right? That's a bonus, but we won't be done there. That might not happen, and that's okay too. We are really gearing towards having our best competition at U Sports this year.
I think that's the biggest thing that makes Western so special, is the team is like a family. It's the tightest knit, everyone cheers for each other, everyone's friends at the track. I can walk around the track and have a conversation with a good 20 people in the first 5 steps that I take, just because everyone's so welcoming and so happy to see each other. And that's the biggest thing that fosters success.
I would say one of the biggest traditions for me on the team is that we have our OUA posters. So pretty much people who made the OUA team, we get posters at the track, get paint everything. You paint your name, and then we put it up on the wall to dry. And then pretty much people on the OUA team or people who are just in London anyways can pretty much just write messages good luck or heartfelt messages. And I don't know, it's very it gets pretty emotional. Especially the people that you've known for a while, and they write you real long paragraphs that are very personal to you and just to them and your bond, and you just read them, and I've cried literally every single year reading my OUA poster, because it's just it's very heartfelt. It just makes you so emotional just seeing what your teammates are writing about you and them wishing you luck at OUAs and saying you're gonna kill it. It's definitely such a amazing feeling.
The posters have a very special place in my heart. I've kept all of them for every OUA championship that I've been a part of. So I've been a part of 4 in the 4 seasons that I've completed. And the messages from your teammates, the words of encouragement are kind of the things that thread us together. The names that were on my poster in first year are obviously not the names that are going to be there this year, but being able to kind of like not only see the progression in yourself, but see the progression in, you know, what you've been able to be a part of and all the people who are kind of behind you, supporting you. I remember the last thing I did before I started my warm-up at OUAs last year, before I threw my furthest distance ever, was read my poster for the very first time. And it honestly brought me to tears before I started to warm up. So yeah, I think that's the most special tradition that we have on this team.
We have the popcorn awards every week that we have after a meet, where I kind of recap people's results at meet, and we do athlete of the week and Purple Heart, and I just think it highlights, you know, it doesn't matter. Sometimes if you don't perform as well, there's still an opportunity to be recognized, which is really nice.
Okay, so this is my last year as head coach at Western. Yeah. So, sorry, I did not realize. So I would like to thank Taylor, my videographer, Caroline for the interview, and my daughter Caitlin did the poster at the end. So if you didn't notice that was it said Crowley's curtain call. So that's my motto for the season. This Mustang family has been my family for 31 years. This is my 32nd season. And I'm really, really so excited to share this moment with you at the beginning of the season for my last season as the Mustang head coach. Let's make this one of the best years in our program history. I'm looking forward to it. I'm surrounded by great people, great captains group, great student athletes. I do plan on continuing to coach my event group if the head coach will have me. And
before I knew that was happening, obviously, like, I had so many special feelings about it being my last season as well, but it removes kind of like the full intrinsic motivation behind wanting to get it done at the end of the year. There's something almost like bigger than yourself that you're fighting for. I'm doing it for, you know, all the teammates who kind of left behind this goal, who might not necessarily were able to achieve it within that time frame. But I think knowing that, you know, Vicky also has like 85 days left, coaching this team to a championship, I feel like it allows us to, you know, to almost like fight for something, you know, even when things might not be going well for yourself. So maybe you're gonna fall out of the medals at one point, but if you have that lingering, you know, sense of purpose that is bigger than yourself, then you honestly just fight for every single point that will score at OUAs or U Sports.
Yeah, we definitely mentioned that like a lot. Like, definitely doing it for Vicky. Like, we have to get this done, because I don't know, this team is just like one of a kind, and this year it's just a special year. So I'm like, we cannot like screw this up. Not that like to put pressure, but I'm like, we actually have to get this done, or it's just gonna be, it's wraps. Like, we have to do it. There's no other choice. We just have to. So
seeing how much time that Vicky has put into this program, and all the athletes, and how much she means to everyone on the team, and how much everyone on the team means to her, I think it'd be a great way, you know, to leave as the head coach. I think it's been something that's been building up for a while. Like, I know when I was on the team, we were always, you know, close. We had the ability, but just couldn't get over the top. And I think now they have a team that, you know, Vicky's built that has that ability, and can really show that.
As much as I'm doing this for myself and I'm doing it for me, it is kind of in the back of the mind, like, you know what, I have an opportunity here to really make my coach's year with this program. And so as much as that is a factor, it's not the only thing. But I think it's going to be something that pushes everyone on this team just a little bit.
Well, that's a little bit emotional for me. At our full team meeting, I was not expecting this at all. And it was Seth that when he spoke, he said, we're doing this for Vicky. And he didn't just say that, and I'm like on the verge of tears here. And it really means a lot, because this team for 32 years has been a family to me. And it's year after year, it's a different group, right? Usually every 4 or 5 years, it's really, quite different, but they all blend, together. I want them to experience the fun of winning, even though you work just as hard when you come second or third. But that's really what I'm hoping they can do this, but I don't want them to ever feel like they would ever disappoint me, but I am, of course, I'm honored and thrilled that they would even think, but I find it also hard to believe that they would do this for me.
I do definitely have some goals. I made a note at the beginning of this year to set some goals that are, outcome based, I'd like to break the school record. I'm 26 centimeters off. I'm second on the all-time list. So breaking the school record is definitely really high up on that list. But some untangible goals is to become a better version of myself in the process. Every single year that I've been here, even with all the setbacks that I've had, there's always been some sort of incremental increase. So just pushing myself on a daily basis to be better than I have ever been.
I think I have 2 separate places where I have goals written down, on top of like number goals and also just technical goals I want to hit. Yeah, I have a personal notebook, and then it's also on my wall. I want the school record in the pentathlon.
Very, very. We're excited. We need to kind of hold in the reins, in the sense of we can't just go fully off our plan of getting the athletes prepared, but there's something special brewing. And again, a lot of teams, I don't think, really know how big our performances are going to be at OUAs and esports.
I am so excited for this year. Some people are aren't you guys scared of jinxing it after everything, after how close you guys got last year, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in that kind of thing. I believe that if we are a team that realistically can do this, we need to believe that, and we need to act like it every single day. We need to act as if, the script is kind of already laid out for us. The production is already kind of in motion, and we just have to believe that it's inevitable, and it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. We just have to believe that it is, and we just have to enjoy every second of the lead up and trust the process 100%. But I'm really confident in us, and could not be more excited for the season ahead.
We can 100% do the best that we possibly can do, and we can come home with 4 championships, but it's not guaranteed. But I want them to know that they can do it, and because if you don't plant that seed, if you don't know that you can do it, if you're not thinking about it, it's not going to happen. You have to think about it, and or it's rarely going to happen. I mean, we have won a championship when it was not expected, and we weren't thinking about winning it until the beginning of the 3rd day of competition at U Sports with our men's team in 2012. That was so stuff happens, we know, but if we can do the best we can and look after ourselves to the best ability, and we are going to have some disappointments. We have had some disappointments, but this also ties into building resilience and patience and trust and doing the best that we can do. And whatever happens, happens.